שלמו בביאת המשיח אני מאמין אני מאמין באמונה שלמו בביאת המשיח אני מאמין משיח 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 אוי 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 משיח 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 אוי 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 משיח 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 יוי 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 ואף על פי שישמח יחזח הכלוי הכלוי בכל שיבוא ואף על פי שישמח יחזח הכלוי בכל שיבוא 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 אני מאמין באמונה שלמו בביאת המשיח אני מאמין באמונה שלמו בביאת המשיח אני מאמין משיח 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 אוי 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 אוי.
And welcome everybody to an unscheduled special presentation of One God, Seven Laws, our Noahide group. This particular broadcast was, as I said, unannounced, but there's an issue that I feel really needs to be addressed sooner rather than later, and I don't want to wait a couple of weeks to put it onto the Noahide group, which already has a schedule of classes and conversations coming up on it. The haters are going to hate, as they say, and they are at it once again. So I wanted to address a current issue that I keep finding on web pages across the internet as well as Facebook pages. That's better. And this is the resurrection, so to speak, of House Resolution 104 of the 102nd Congress. Once again, it's making news. And it is questioning the nature of the seven laws and the reason that they exist. So I wanted to address that today. So here we go. What follows is my presentation. The Noahide Law is a set of ethical values and moral principles, not a religion. HJ Resolution 104, 102nd Congress, with Rabbi Shlomo Nachman. Copyright February the 3rd, 2019. While there really shouldn't be any debate, or any room for debate, about what the Noahide laws intend to accomplish, due to ongoing anti-Semitism, there is. As I said, haters are going to hate, and they're going to use any opportunity that they can to attack the Jews and all of those who stand with them. So first let's consider, before looking at the resolution, what is a Noahide? Simply stated, a Noahide is a non-Jew who recognizes the path, or derech in Hebrew, set before him or her in the Torah and chooses to embrace it. That's what a Noahide is. Several different terms are used to describe these people. Noahidim, singular, Noahide, B'nai Noach, rainbow people, and so on. But regardless of what they're called, Noahides are the observers of 7 universal laws as presented in the Torah and elaborated by Rambam and other important Jewish sages. So what's to debate? But debate we do. Oy, how we debate. The anti-Semites claim that we Jews are trying to enslave non-Jews with harsh edicts and decrees like the 7 laws. They cite the Talmudic discussions while ignoring the context of those discussions as well as the conclusions that they draw. Frankly, they make most of it up, whole cloth. Their ridiculous accusations arise from a single place, a single mindset, which we refer to sometimes as Judenhass, or Jew hatred. Likewise, The church condemns the so-called Christ killers for trying to draw their members away into a sort of Judaism-light slave class. It is they, however, who seek to convert us and the rest of the world to their belief system, not the other way around. In the face of these types of condemnations, the rabbis typically reply to both charges saying, "We just want to be left alone and in peace. That's really all we want. We are not trying to convert anybody to anything." However, the Gentiles keep coming to us with their questions, and we're obligated by Torah to assist them as we are able to. It is nothing more than this. If you doubt this, just ask those Gentiles who are seeking rabbinic guidance as Noahides. They'll quickly tell you how difficult it is to find rabbinic assistance as a Noahide or as a would-be convert. It shouldn't be, but it is. And besides, Noahides remain Gentiles. They're not converting into anything when they become Noahides. Noahides never become Jews, light or otherwise, until or unless they choose to go through the daunting process of formal conversion to Judaism. The Noahide path is not a religion. It is an ethical and a moral path. All of these accusations and defenses and all the nonsense leads to confusion, both for the Gentiles who are seeking direct Noahide and for all other concerned parties. But it really doesn't need to be this way. The way of God, my friends, is simple. As Rabbi Nachman of Breslov tells us at Sechot Haran number 101, no sophistication is needed in serving God. Only simplicity, sincerity, and faith. Simplicity, he writes, is higher than everything else. For God is certainly higher than everything else, and God is ultimately simple. What could be more simple than Echad, one? And again, the Rebbe tells us, don't follow excessive stringencies in your practice of Torah, because God does not rule over his creation with tyranny. This is a quote from Avodah Zarah 3a in the Talmud. The Torah was not given to ministering angels, as it says at Berachot 25b. Again, that is Sechot Haran number 235. It does not have to be so complicated. But the haters are going to hate. Consistent with their Judenhaus ideologies, thank you, Huva. With their Judenhaus ideologies, modern anti-Semites often claim that the Jews are a global menace. Now, even in the halls of the U.S. Congress, we're hearing such nonsense. Again, as I've been posting recently on my Facebook page. We're also seeing the rise of Zog, the evil Zionist organization that supposedly rules the world. And the ridiculous protocols of the Elders of Zion is also making a lamentable comeback as well. It's all nonsense. With regards to Judenhass, or Jew hatred, it's like we're living in the 1930s again. Apparently, the world learned nothing from the Nazi era. We hoped that they would, but apparently they didn't. As evidence of their hatred, some of them are again pointing to this 1991 Happy Birthday declaration to the Lubavitcher Rebbe, Reb Schneerson. And, once again, they're horribly misinterpreting it. This declaration is nothing about anything that they're claiming that it is. The First Amendment says, Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion, nor prohibiting the free exercise thereof, or abridging the freedom of speech or of the press, or the right of the people to peaceably assemble, and to petition the government for redress of grievances. Let's look at what this says. Who shall make no what? Concerning what? The government is forbidden. The government, Congress, the government is forbidden from interfering in the religious exercise of its citizens, not the other way around. The law does not protect the government from the governed, but the governed from the government. And yet, more and more, the government is interfering in our First and Second Amendment rights, while we, the people, by and large, remain silent. It's no wonder we're losing what remains of our constitutional republic. Back in 1991, last century, back in 1991, George W. Bush was the President of the United States, and Congress made a nice gesture towards a great rabbi, and they restated a central pillar of the American experiment. Like most of the Constitution and the Bill of Rights, this declaration, this resolution, has effectively been thrown into the trash anyway, so it doesn't really matter today. To say that this resolution back in the last century is seeking to establish a mandatory Noahide religion to kill those who refuse to comply with its edicts and so on is absolutely nuts and has absolutely no support nor basis in the text of the Declaration, nor in the Noahide laws, nor in the desires of Israel, the Jewish people, nor in the Talmud, nor frankly anywhere in reality. The resolution's language is plain and clear. The declaration merely wishes Reb Sneerson, the Lubavitcher Rebbe, a happy 90th birthday, and it thanks him for his work among the Gentile population, a vital service. That during his life, the Rebbe was almost the main person, at least, dealing with the issue of helping Noahides. The resolution simply acknowledges the fact that the United States of America was established upon accepted biblical principles, including the Noahide laws. Indeed, founder John Adams warned, quote, "Our Constitution was made only for a moral and religious people. It is wholly inadequate to government of any other." Read that again. The Constitution of the United States was made only for a moral and religious people. It is wholly inadequate to the government of any other. The United States was not established on secular, nor was not established rather as a secular nor a atheist haven. We have built-in protections to prevent any single religious ideology from controlling the reins of government, hence the people. So we have Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion, nor prohibiting the free exercise thereof. Congress cannot decide that a particular religion should have the authority to enforce its dogmatic beliefs on the rest of the country. Congress can make no law concerning the establishment of religion, nor prohibiting the free exercise thereof. In no way does this civil protection allow the government to run roughshod over our God-given rights, which the Constitution calls them that, our God-given rights, given to us as inalienable rights from our Creator. Foundational among these God-given, God-defined rights are 6 of the 7 Noahide laws. U.S. law excludes the inclusion of the law of Vodazara, which is the prohibition against foreign worship, by establishing the freedom of our once moral and religious people to determine their own walks with God. The other 6 are written into U.S. law. The assumption was, at the time, that a moral and a religious people with no nationally established nor mandatory religion would act responsibly, as ruled in the 7 laws of Noah. But again, the haters are going to hate. Hashem does not rule over this earth as a dictator. We are each endowed by the one Creator with both the right and the personal responsibility and the collective responsibility to determine our own path and to establish human society according to what we believe as we the people. The problem is we are no longer a religious people. We are no longer a moral people. And as a result, our constitutional republic is dying on the vine. The constitutional republic that we received from our nation's founders is now teetering on the brink of destruction, in part because we have thrown out the 7 Noahide laws, and we have thrown out morality, and we have thrown out religion, and collectively, as a nation, we have allowed God himself to be outlawed. Let's look at the resolution. This is what it says. H.J. Resolution 104, 102nd Congress of the United States of America, at the first session, begun and held in the city of Washington on Thursday, the 3rd day of January, 1991. Joint resolution to designate March 26, 1991 as Education Day USA. That's the formal title. Whereas Congress recognizes the historical tradition of ethical values and principles which are the basis of all civilized society and upon which our great nation was founded, whereas these ethical values and principles have been the bedrock of society from the dawn of civilization, when they were known as the 7 Noahide laws, whereas without these ethical values and principles, the edifice of civilization stands in serious peril of returning to chaos, whereas society is profoundly concerned with the recent weakening of these principles that has resulted in crises that beleaguer and threaten the fabric of civilized society, whereas the justified preoccupation with these crises must not let the citizens of this nation lose sight of their responsibility to transmit these historical ethical values from our distinguished past to the generation of the future, whereas the Lubavitch movement, Chabad, the Lubavitch movement has fostered and promoted these ethical values and principles throughout the world, whereas Rabbi Menachem Mendel Schneerson, leader of the Lubavitch movement, is universally respected and revered, and his 98th birthday falls on March 26, 1991, whereas in tribute to this great spiritual leader, the Rabbi, this, his 90th year, will be seen as one of education and giving, the year in which we turn to education and charity to return the world to the moral and ethical values contained in the 7 Noahide laws, and whereas this will be reflected in an international scroll of honor signed by the President of the United States, at the time W. Bush, and other heads of state, now therefore be it resolved by the Senate and the House of Representatives of the United States of America in Congress assembled, that March 26, 1991, the start of the 90th year of Rabbi Menachem Schneerson, leader of the worldwide Lubavitch movement, is designated as Education Day USA. The President is requested to issue a proclamation calling upon the people of the United States to observe such a day with appropriate ceremonies and activities. Signed by the Speaker of the House of Representatives, the Vice President of the United States, and the President of the Senate. This is what the Declaration said. Nothing more, nothing less. That is the entire Declaration. How is that a threat to anybody? How is that attempting to establish a Noahide religion? It is not. It is a recognition that through the ancient 7-law Noahide laws, we have a set of ethical and moral standards that our nation was founded on. How about the 7 laws? You will read on certain websites that the 7 laws are barbaric, that they're horrible, that they call for the beheading of people who refuse to observe them, that the Jews are wielding the 7 laws to the detriment of the entire planet to create a Jewish super race or Zog. What are the 7 laws? Again, in the United States Constitution, avodah zarah was excluded and was left to the decision of the governed. In other words, the governed have the right to decide for themselves what is foreign worship and what is the worship that they choose to practice. For Noahides and Jews, the first law is avodah zarah, the prohibition against idolatry, which includes all form of idolatry, including placing anything or anyone before Hashem. That's the first one. That's the one that's absent from our Constitution, that is bequeathed to the citizens to determine. Number 2, Birchat Hashem, the commandment to bless the name of God. Inherent in this is the prohibition against blaspheming and cursing and dishonor the name. Essentially what it means is that as a religious and moral people, we give thanks to our Creator and we honor God. We do not dishonor God by outlawing Him in the schools and defaming His glory and His power. Number 3, Shevachat Damim. This is the prohibition against murder. How is this a threat to civilized society? Murder means the unjustified taking of human life. Killing animals is not murder, biblically speaking. There's a difference between killing and murder. Number 4, Gizel. This is the prohibition against robbery and theft. How is the prohibition against robbery and theft a violation or a danger to anyone except thieves? Number 5, Gilui Arayot. This is the prohibition against immorality and forbidden sexual relations. In our day today, when anything seems to go, this is not a very popular one. But this is one of the foundational principles of the civilized world, so that men and women could live together in marriage and produce children, and people would respect one another. This is the point of Gilui Arayot. Number 6, Ever Min Hakai. This one's a little bit detailed to try to understand, but essentially it is a violation against animal cruelty. How is prohibiting animal cruelty a threat to anyone? And number 7, Danim, is a requirement to establish a judicial system in courts of law to enforce the other 6 principles. Again, how is this a danger to anyone? Nothing in these laws speak of beheading or anything of the like. The references that people like to cite from the Talmud, when they do not understand what the Talmud is talking about, is a matter of their ignorance about how to read the Talmud. A book, incidentally, or a series of books, that is actually Noahides really are not supposed to read, because they are rabbinic instructions intended to help the rabbis guide and lead civilized Jewish society. Again, the 7 laws of Noah are common principles that have been present in every religious and civilized law throughout world history. It doesn't matter what religion you look at. These laws are incumbent. These are not religious laws. These are sectarian laws. These are universal laws that apply to everyone regardless of their belief system. The way we use the term Noahide today, we are referring specifically to those Gentiles who have come to us, to the Jewish people. We don't go to them begging them to come. They come to us, saying, as the prophet said, I will go with you, for I now understand that God is with you. That is what a Noahide is. A Noahide is a Gentile who comes to the Jewish people saying, I will go with you, for God is with you. And they observed the 7 Noahide laws. As I said earlier, these laws should be done in a simple spirit, a moral, ethical spirit, rather than legalistically. That is what a Noahide is. This is what the 1991 Declaration stated. In the chat room, we have a few people, and I would invite you all to ask questions or make comments if you'd like. This includes Muhammad Kamel, who is a dear friend, Mary DeHart, a dear friend, and Miriam Jacob and Veronica Port, both dear friends. So Since this was an unscheduled broadcast, we don't have a lot of people watching it live that I can see. If you watch on the TV set, I can't see it, so I never know for sure how many people are watching. But if anyone in the room has a question, I do invite you now to share that question. But this is the point that I wanted to make. When people on Facebook, as they often do, and by the way, thank you all of you who do, begin sending me links to the type of articles that have been posted about the dangers of Noahide and the Jewish conspiracy to take over the world. If I get a couple of these, I start thinking I need to address them. If I get a few of them, I figure I probably should do this as a video and in writing, which was the case here. A certain group of people whose link I'm not going to share because I do not wish to share their insanity with anybody. But they have posted that resolution as though it were some new thing that just happened under President Bush. It happened under President W. Bush in the last century. And it does not say anything that the website says that it says. It is simply the United States of America, as they do with a lot of people in a lot of situations, offering a formal resolution, a formal happy birthday to one of Judaism's greatest modern leaders, who passed away, of course, several years ago, the Lubavitcher Rebbe. The Lubavitcher Rebbe spoke a lot about Noahide issues. He led many Jews to understanding the Noahide issues. And all Noahides are, whether they know it or not, deeply indebted to the work of the Lubavitcher Rebbe and to Rambam. Probably, historically, these two men did more to help the Noahides than any other Jews in history. So I'm not seeing any questions or comments in the chat screen, so I'm going to go ahead and end this broadcast here. I just really felt I needed to make this statement and to have it out there. If you are not a member yet of our Noahide group, I encourage you to join us. We have a Noahide group on Facebook where we are discussing various points of interest about Noahides. I'm posting the link here in the chat screen. You're all welcome to click that link and come and join the group. When you do, be sure and answer the sign-up questions. I can't say that. But just because you answer yes to certain questions about your beliefs or whatever does not mean you're not going to be admitted. What we want to do in the group, we want to make sure that people in the group are either Jewish or they are sincere Noahides, sincere seekers of truth who are not there to missionize. That really is the purpose of the questions that we ask for membership. Unless we know you personally, and really even if we do, we need you to answer those questions. We have a broadcast every Thursday evening at 8 p.m. Eastern Time on various topics concerning the Noahide way, or direct Noahide, as I typically refer to it. So until next time, may God bless you and keep you, and may God cause his face to shine evermore upon you. In closing, I just want to mention, Mashiach ben David, the Messiah, will come when the Jewish people meet certain criteria for his coming. Our prophets tell us that in the end of days there will be an increase of Noahidim. Since the 1970s and 80s, the number of Gentiles coming and seeking information about the Noahide laws and embracing direct Noahide has increased experientially. When something grows that quickly, it also opens the door for charlatans to make money selling books and preaching their own ideologies. The House of Seven Beggars, our Rebbe, Rabbi Ariel Nachman ben Chaim, and myself, the Associate Rabbi of the House of Seven Beggars, are doing our very best to teach accurate information to all Noahides who come seeking from us. If you have a question about this Noahide way, we invite you to contact us at the House of Seven Beggars or at mylearnamuna.com. Our friend Miriam Jacob is here and says blessings. It was very good. Thank you, Miriam. I appreciate it. Since we're not having questions, then I'm going to go ahead and end with one of the greatest musicians in modern Judaism, Mordechai ben David, singing his song, Mashiach. If you want the Mashiach to come, whether you're Jewish, Noahide, or anything else, begin to follow the simple teachings set forth for all of humanity in the Torah, the 7 Noahide laws, or apply yourself to following the path of Judaism properly if you are Jewish, with love, with inclusion, with kindness, with mercy, and most of all, a life filled with emunah, active, complete faith in the one God. Thank you very much, my friends. And now I bring you, in closing, Mordechai ben David, Mashiach.
מאמין באמונה שלי מו בביאה המשיח אני מאמין אני מאמין באמונה שלי מו בביאה המשיח אני מאמין משיח 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 אוי 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 משיח 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 yo Mashiach 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 yo 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 ואף על פי שישמח יין קוצח הכלוי הכלוי וכל שיבוא ואף על פי שישמח יין קוצח הכלוי וכל שיבוא 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 מאמין באמונה שלי מו בביאה המשיח אני מאמין מאמין באמונה שלי מו בביאה המשיח אני מאמין משיח 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 אוי 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 משיח 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 yo 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 Mashiach 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 yo 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 Mashiach 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 yo 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 ואף על פי שישמח מיין קוזח הכלוי וכל יום שיבוא ואף על פי שישמח מיין קוזח הכלוי וכל יום שיבוא 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 מאמין באמונה שלי מו בביאה המשיח אני מאמין מאמין באמונה שלי מו בביאה המשיח אני מאמין משיח 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 אוי 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 משיח 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 אוי 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 משיח 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 אוי 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 משיח 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 אוי 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 ואף על פי שישמח יין קוזח הכלוי וכל יום שיבוא ואף על פי שישמח יין קוזח הכלוי וכל יום שיבוא 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 שיבוא
Well, they must have done an update. My ending credits don't work anymore. There we go.